Step onto your hardwood floor in your bare feet right now. Walk a few slow steps across it. Feel that faint, sticky drag under your soles, the way your skin almost catches on the surface as you move. That is not the wood, that is the polish you bought last spring, and the polish from the spring before that, layered one coat over another into a soft, cloudy film. You have been adding shine to your floor for years, and yet the wood underneath, the real wood, has not actually been touched in a very long time. But here is what caught my attention. In Japan, a wooden floor is not coated at all. It is cleaned with a simple cloth and almost nothing else, and the shine that rises up out of it is not a product. It is the wood itself. There is a 10-minute method behind this. It costs almost nothing, and by the end of this video, you will understand why the bottle of floor polish under your sink has quietly been working against you the entire time. To see why, we have to be honest about what floor polish actually does, because it is not quite what the bottle implies. A wooden floor, when it is new, already has a quiet shine of its own. That shine comes from the grain of the wood and from the clear protective finish sealed over it at the factory. It does not need help, but floor polish is sold on the promise that it does. Polish works by depositing a thin layer of wax, acrylic, or silicone across the surface. For a day or two, that layer looks glossy and the floor seems revived. Then the gloss fades because the layer is thin and constantly walked upon, and so another coat goes down on top of it, and then another. Each coat is laid over the last without the one beneath ever being removed. Over months and years, those coats build into a dull, faintly yellowing, slightly tacky film. That film is what catches at your bare feet. It traps dust instead of releasing it. It clouds over the grain instead of revealing it, and the shine you are looking at is no longer the wood at all. It is a stack of old polish, and here is the quiet part. The shine fades quickly by design because a product that lasted forever would only ever be bought once. The Japanese relationship with a wooden floor is built on an entirely different idea. There is a word, soji, which translates loosely as cleaning, but means something closer to returning a thing to its proper state. Soyuji does not improve a surface by adding to it. It restores the surface by taking away what does not belong. You can see this in one of the oldest images in Japanese daily life, the zokin, a simple folded cleaning cloth, and the practice of zokin gake, where school children across Japan, down on their hands and knees, wipe the wooden floors of their classrooms every single day. No polish, no machine, just a damp cloth and a long, even stroke. And the proof that this works is standing in Kyoto right now. The wooden floors and verandas of temples 400 and 500 years old glow with a deep, soft light, and not a single drop of synthetic polish has ever touched them. That glow was built by nothing but centuries of cloths, bare feet, and patient wiping. There's a second idea here as well, motenai, the quiet regret of waste. To a Japanese eye, burying a beautiful piece of wood beneath a coat of plastic is a small but genuine kind of waste. The method itself is almost startlingly simple, and it begins not in a hardware store, but in a teapot. A pot of plain green tea is brewed and then left to cool until it is only just warm, no longer hot. Green tea is the quiet heart of this method, and the reason is a substance inside it called tannin. Tannins are mild, natural plant acids, gently astringent, and on a wooden floor, they do two things at once. They lift the thin film of grime, dust, and footprint oil that settles over any floor, and they very subtly deepen the look of the wood grain, drawing out its natural color. Tannin cleans, and it leaves nothing of its own behind. There is no wax in tea, no silicone, nothing that can build up. The tea is used with a cloth, and here the Japanese kitchen reaches for microfiber, the modern descendant of the zokin. The cloth is dipped into the warm tea and then wrung out thoroughly over and over until it is barely damp at all. This single detail matters more than any other, and it is worth understanding why. Wood and standing water are not friends. Water that pools on a floor seeps down into the seams between the boards, soaks into the wood, and causes it to swell and lift its finish. So the cloth is never wet. It is only just moist enough to lift grime and no more, and the slight warmth of the tea helps that trace of moisture evaporate within seconds of touching the floor. Then the floor is wiped, and it is wiped in one direction only, in long, even strokes that follow the grain of the wood, the way a temple floor has always been polished. Working with the grain draws the cloth along the natural lines of the wood rather than across them, lifting what rests inside the grain instead of pushing it about. A section is wiped, the cloth is turned to a fresh face, and the next section follows. In around 10 minutes, an average room is finished. And when the faint dampness has dried and the light from the window falls across the boards, the floor shines, a soft, deep, even shine. Nothing was added to create it. The shine was simply uncovered. It had been the wood the whole time, waiting beneath the film. In a Japanese home, this wipe is repeated weekly, and because nothing is ever deposited onto the floor, nothing ever builds up, and the wood never needs stripping or restoring again. The cost of all this is almost not worth calculating, though the comparison is striking. A bottle of commercial wood floor polish costs somewhere between $6 and $12, and because the shine it gives fades within days, a household that relies on it buys bottle after bottle, year after year. Green tea, by contrast, costs a few cents per pot, and a single pot cleans an entire floor. The method works out to a small handful of cents each time it is used. But the real saving is the floor itself. A floor that has never been coated in polish never needs the harsh, expensive chemical stripping that built-up polish eventually demands. And the wood, left to breathe, simply lasts longer. Pennies are spent, and the floor repays it for decades. The deeper lesson here was never really about a floor. It is about Tsuji and about a quiet assumption most of us never stop to question. We are taught, almost everywhere we look, that to improve something, we must add to it. A better floor needs more polish. A better surface needs another product. But the floor was beautiful before the first coat ever went down. The shine was never missing. It was only buried slowly beneath layers of things that promised to help. And once you notice that pattern, you begin to see it everywhere in a home, and perhaps a little beyond one. The thing you are reaching to add is often resting directly on top of the very thing you were trying to find. The instinct of Soji is to pause before adding anything at all, and to ask first whether the real answer is to take something away. A floor does not turn dull because it lacks polish. It turns dull because it has been covered. So perhaps tonight, walk barefoot across your own floor and pay attention to that faint, sticky drag beneath your feet. It is telling you something. And when you are ready, a cooled pot of green tea and a soft cloth will show you what your wood has actually looked like all along. If this changed the way you see your home, consider subscribing so the next Japanese method finds its way to you. And if you would like every method gathered together in one place, you will find it waiting in the description below. Until next time, keep the practice quiet, and the house will keep itself.